All right, hello. Welcome to the Hear About It podcast. I'm your unreluctant host, Will PB, and today I'm talking to Aaron Harrison, who created the Deathstroke costume for the hit DC television show Arrow, which was about the comic book superhero, the the Emerald Archer himself, the Green Arrow. It is on CW. It is now on Netflix. And I can't tell you how sincere I am when I say this. I'm a huge fan of the Green Arrow character. I have almost all the volumes from the Mike Grell run. I've read Year One by Andy Diggle and Jock. And I basically stole the couch after I moved to New York City so I could watch the third season. As a fan, seeing Green Arrow take on villains like Deathstroke and Ra's al Ghul, so on and so forth, is very exciting. And I just want to say that if you have ever been involved in any Green Arrow, anything ever, if you were maybe going to play him in a movie and it didn't work out, you're very welcome on the podcast. Okay, so that's what I wrote when I thought Deathstroke was your main gig, Aaron. But it turns out you also made costumes for the characters Speedy for
Well,
art. Sorry.
I didn't make the costumes. I made their gear. Like anytime you saw quivers or things that held weapons, that usually fell into my area. Maya Manny, the costume designer, she made most of the costume.
That's right. Got me there. Okay.
Biggest baby on the whole.
So, I mean, but the gear, honestly, that's as much, if not more so, kind of what I want to talk about. So, what's some of the gear that you made for the Deathstroke costume?
Well, there was a design and a bit of delay in getting it done, and then basically I got called by Ken Harlow, the prop master in the show, and he said, well, first they, and I was like, yes, I can, and I know who this is for, because I knew the character was coming up on the show. And then he asked me how I was at making tactical gear, and I told him that I used to work for a company where that's what I built. And he goes, okay, I need you to look up Deathstroke, aka Arkham Asylum. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, let me check my schedule to see if I have time. I walked into the other room, went, yes, and then came back to the phone.
Right.
And riot gear and pieces and materials, and just said, here's the picture. Try and make this stuff look like that. And so there was a lot of discussion back and forth on the phone, and it wasn't easy. This was my first big thing for these guys, so I didn't want to screw it up. But there was a lot of jumps and hoops. Like they wanted to use real Kevlar because of the look of it. But the thing is, Kevlar is like fiberglass. If you don't cure it with some sort of hard, so they still wanted it to be flexible. So I couldn't make it like fiberglass because it would be too hard. And I called up a couple of people I know. My friend Brant of Brant Effects, asked him, and he said, well, basically it's a resin. It's just an acrylic resin that you can put on it. And I tried a couple and they were all too hard. And at one point, I'm not full of shit here.
Oh shoot.
And a can of acrylic spray paint, and went, well, it's the 11th hour. I got nothing to lose. So I just hit it with the 77 with some rubber gloves and rubbed it in. And then I sprayed the crap out of it with the spray acrylic and walked away and just went, yeah, I'm going to go have a beer. I'm just going to wait and see what happens.
Right on.
Came back and it worked.
Yeah,
it makes nice flexible resin to hold it together. So after that, legs, and I'm going to tell you right now, they aren't supposed to come apart. I broke like 4 sets of side cutters trying to cut the rivets on those things. It was quite a nightmare to actually get done, but at the end, it came out. I put it up on a table on my first day on set, and this guy walks up to me and starts talking, and turn around, oh, it's Manu Bennett. He's like, oh, what's all this? And I went, this is you.
Yeah, right.
And Yeah. Actually, he did something first when he did some test footage. You can probably find it online. He actually wanted to see the movement in the suit, so he actually did breakdancing in it.
Oh, okay. I had no idea. I'm gonna try and throw in a link for that. That's awesome.
Look it up on YouTube, and you'll find Deathstroke breakdancing. Because believe it or not, Manu Bennett is a champion breakdancer when he was younger. He's a professional, like he was ballroom dancing, everything. Because he,
Just because.
when he was in high school, way to meet girls in high school was dance class. And I think he said there was like one other guy in dance class and he wasn't interested in girls.
Yeah, trust me. Yeah. People have a lot to learn about dance. That's all I have to say. Trying to ease them into it, but anyway,
Yeah.
kudos, Manu Bennett. Now you're the best break dancer that ever Deathstroked. But so we've got a tiny bit of lag, but I
Yeah.
think it's forgivable. We're between America and Canada, and I'm thrilled you're here. Before we go any further, what are all those skulls behind you?
Oh, these are from 13th Warrior.
Oh, cool.
After that movie, they had crates of them. This city is still littered with them. You can still find them in different like secondhand stores or prop shops. They're all over the place. And right up, see it, right back. Where is it? There, that bear head. That's one of the That's one of the Wendell heads from 13th Warrior.
Awesome, right on.
I collect a lot of stuff, like a lot of props and things from shows, and some of the stuff that I've built, I have it hanging on the wall. Hats and
those hats look,
whatever.
Yeah, those hats look actually really cool. I like that the tan, the brown looking one. That looks awesome. It's got like goggles or something on top of it.
The top hat, yeah. They're from patterns you can get from. Yeah, I during COVID I had to keep myself busy, so I just decided to buy some patterns off of a guy from Etsy, Diesel Punk, RORU. Yeah, shameless plug here, but I bought a lot of patterns off me.
Yeah, no, shameless plug away.
If you ever videos on it.
Yeah, so I'm kind of tripping over myself. It's really cool to get this inside scoop on some of the Arrow stuff. Let me take a look at my notes here. All right, so this is your first big character, and so let's get into your origin story. You know, you weren't always doing leather work for a Green Arrow TV show. How'd you get involved in this line of work? Yeah.
Well, involved in the industry in some way or another for over 30 years. And basically, friends suggested me, and Ken took a shot. He's never worked with me. He didn't know. And he just asked. That's basically it. It just dropped in my lap. I was thrilled to be, making cinematically, like he's never been on TV. They had the character once. Shut up. They had the character once on Smallville, played by a friend of mine, Michael Hogan.
Oh, no way.
He was just called Slade Wilson, but he never really had an armor or anything, just had an eye patch. As Michael says, he always plays characters that either are alcoholic or wear eye patches.
Yes, Slade's in there, man.
Yeah, but yeah, it just fell in my lap. I'd done stuff for other shows. I had just finished building some stuff for background characters for Once Upon a Time and Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. And then leatherwork stuff for years. So this was actually a big opportunity to actually be making, like, again, an iconic character, but doing more than just leather work. So I used a lot of materials that weren't supposed to be used together. I mixed and matched a lot of things, and we only built 4 suits. Even when they did even when they did the Legends episode where it was Deathstroke 2040 or
Oh yeah.
whatever it was onto it and painted it. And then when they had to bring them back, we switched the buckles back and repainted it again.
Yeah. So I'm trying to
The only
make
thing
this.
I didn't build was the helmet.
Oh, cool. Right on, man.
I didn't make the helmet.
Yeah, well, I mean, all that stuff, like his straps and stuff, like it looks like all the grenades and stuff. That's great. I'm trying to make this like semi-accessible to people who haven't seen the show, but there's 8 seasons. It's on Netflix. You know, I just want to ask some arrow questions here. So, um,
Oh, absolutely. Sure.
I gotta first of all, I gotta throw this in. Why are so many shows filmed in Vancouver? Like, what makes it so great?
Well, they have some of the largest sound stages in the West Coast. And also, we have a lot of locations that can play as all over. We also have a massive amount of forest around us, but we have like excellent crews. We've been filming in like Vancouver. You go back as the first Rambo was filmed here.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Stargate. If you look up how many shows are actually, you'd be surprised how many you think are filmed somewhere else aren't.
Right.
Even Batwoman, it's shot here, and then they just go down to establishing shots, but it's all shot here.
Yeah.
Most of the CW, Black Lightning is not shot here, neither is Stargirl, but The Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, Superman and Lois, that's now shot here.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Where's Black Lightning shot?
I think it's in Georgia.
Oh, right on. That's cool.
I think
we got one. So I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I mean,
yeah. Well, it's because our dollar is it's okay. It's also because our dollar is cheaper.
Yeah.
And because we give a discount, like we give a tax back to or like a tax refund to the films come up here.
Right.
And it's actually kind of funny is the film industry is one of the only things where trickle down economics work.
Right. I mean, I don't know perfectly, but I
employ a ton of people. They spend money on supplies.
Yeah. But I try to understand that stuff basically. Yeah, that's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So like all right, so I'm just gonna try and get some trivia. So like for you, like sort of you're working on the show and the episodes are coming out. For you, like what were the story highlights? What were the actual like story points that you liked the best?
About the series, man, that's a tough one. There was some actual really good stories. I think the Vigilante and Adrian Chase being the bad guy, that was a nice MacGuffin. I like that one because they rewrote essentially was Batman, but you can't get Batman on TV, so you get Arrow, who was in the comics basically a kind of a knockoff Batman. But there were some really good story arcs. I liked, actually, to have to say that season with Adrian Chase, the final couple of episodes where Deathstroke came back and was like trying to atone for his crimes, and that was Chase was always a step ahead. No matter what, he always won. Even to the end, he won.
Right.
He got
That's
wanted.
true.
And there was no, it was a no-win situation for a change. And I like that because it's, you know, always there's like, aha, we managed to trick the bad guy, or oh, we won. And this was, no, you lose no matter what. Something's going to go bad for you no matter what. He had all the bases covered, and he was Josh, like if you see him holding a baby, because somebody had their baby on set, and he just melts because he loves kids. You see that, and then you see the psychopath he plays in the show. It's just like, you know, wow.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
I made his quiver and gear too.
No, I gotta say, there's like that episode where he like just goes crazy on someone like in his personal life basically, and he's got like blood all over his face at the end, and he's like driving around whistling. That episode
when he killed the when he stabbed to death with a pen the cop who had him in protection, was going to try and arrest him. Yeah, that was brutal. I actually saw that, was like, okay.
Exactly. And yeah.
That was really well filmed. I'm not sure. Was it James Bamford who directed that one? I can't remember.
Oh, right on. All right, cool. So
producer on the show. By the end, he was a producer of James Bamford. James Bamford was the first person you actually see on the series. He's the first one you see the Green Arrow kill.
Right.
Because he was one of the stunt people at that point. Shush. Yeah. And he and then he ends up on the show as a producer director.
I'm a huge fan. You caught me. Like I kind of was aware that like James Bamford was taking this bigger and bigger role. But the fight scenes are great. And I was gonna save this for later, but the fight scenes were always great. But then when you guys get to season 7, they're crazy. I mean, it's just crazy.
James Bamford.
Yeah.
He loves his oneers. He loves his long rehearsed shots. So it's just one camera track. I was there for one Deathstroke episode where Deathstroke was killing a pilot. And like there's one point I thought one of the stunt guys had a broken neck because the way his head went. But there was literally one scene where another stuntman, in fact, the guy who did the stunt double for Kronos on Legends, they wanted more blood, but they were trying to shoot fast and they wanted more blood. So literally as he throws himself out the door, because he's supposed to have been just thrown out by Deathstroke, as he throws himself out the door, the makeup artist just slapped him in the face on his face before he hit the ground. So that's so good. Fight scenes, the stunt team on the show were amazing. There was actually 4 different Deathstroke stunt doubles. There was Josh, Ryan Handley, who also was the stunt double for Shazam, and also Vigilante at one point. Also the like he played a lot of the bad guys, and Deathstroke. James was Deathstroke. In fact, James was this bald guy, but when he put a wig on and a beard, he looked almost identical to Manu. It was creepy, the transition. Right. And there's also Will, who was the Arrow stunt double. Okay. And yeah, Will's, I just worked with a pile of these guys on this Disney show I can't mention. It was good to see them all. Right. So I gotta be honest, my name is Will. So when Green Arrow's kid turned out to be named William, I was like, no. I was like, you know what I mean? It was just kind of like, like I'm, like what if it was Aaron? You'd just be like, Oh, there was a few times I've seen characters on shows I've worked on. They're named Aaron, and I'm like, hell, I was doing extra work once on 21 Jump Street way back in the day, and I was playing like a junkie in a crack
Wow.
house, and the scene was Peter DeLuise, I believe, coming in asking for Aaron, and I had not heard them say rolling or anything, so I almost got up and answered, and then realized, oh wait, they're actually shooting. There's the camera. Yeah, so I almost answered. So yeah, I understand.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, cool, cool. Thanks for kind of helping me out there. I just want to throw in, I haven't seen the DC show Titans yet, so I haven't seen SI Morales's Deathstroke performance. I feel like I should mention that. But you know, Manu Bennett, of course, did a great job playing Deathstroke. Um, so what was that sort of like, your sort of interaction with him? You obviously got to know him pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I worked with him a bit in the second season when he was in it, and then it wasn't until like when we were doing the return, talked a lot, and we hung out a lot. We hung out at the rap party at the end of season 2.
Oh, cool.
There are people who find him intense. There are people who find him intimidating. He's like most of the people I grew up with. I think he's a great guy. He's like, yeah, he's intense and he's very focused, and but he's also a sweetheart, and he's Maori. So if you, that should cheer intense people. They're very passionate and very fiery. So
Yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, he was playing Deathstroke, you know, like
exactly, exactly.
yeah, yeah,
He's very proud of his time playing that character.
yeah, deservedly so. I watched a bunch of those episodes to prep for this, and you know, which is a fun idea that I have to watch Arrow episodes of Deathstroke, and but you know, it's a really fun time, and he does a great job. I actually, the scene where like he confronts the character, this is totally Kanan and stuff, the scene where he confronts Brother Blood, and he's like, shut up, Brother Blood, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill this city, I'm gonna kill the Green Arrow. Like that scene was so good.
Oh, the
And
scene where he went after Brother Blood in his office.
no, like Brother Blood like comes to Deathstroke's office, and he's all
Oh,
like,
okay, yeah,
he's like,
yeah,
how can you do this to me? Yeah, that was really good.
yeah,
And also I want to mention
yeah.
that, you know, that episode where, I mean, like Deathstroke kills Green Arrow's mom. Like if that happened in a comic book, that would be Kanan forever. Like that was
Yeah.
huge. I was trying to tell my friends about it. I was like, he kills Green Arrow's mom. You know, like that was crazy. That was nuts.
Which they retconned in the final
Oh,
crossover. But funny story about that. When they were doing the crossover, where or not the crossover, but where Arrow goes in the final season. I'm not sure if you've seen it yet, but I don't know if you're okay with the spoiler.
so yeah, you say your thing and I'll say my thing. Yeah, I've seen most of the final season. Yeah.
Okay, so when, I mean, it aired last year, so if you have people haven't watched it,
Yeah, I mean, come on. Yeah, it's
sorry,
fun.
point where he sees his mother, and where you see the point where he sees his mother alive, and he's trying to find out who the Dark Archer is, and it's not Malcolm Merlin, but there's the scene when they're first in there. I'm surprised it didn't make it to the outtakes, but there was a point where they still had the plant on sword from when she got killed. And so they just did a scene where she walks in with the sword sticking out of her, goes, sorry, I'm late.
Oh.
And the sword sticking out of her. That was, so when you
All
talk
right.
about the death of the mother, I just, I immediately go to that. in my head for some reason.
Oh, you gotta share that footage, man. That would be, I mean,
It was
that would be
hilarious.
yeah, you guys, I don't know if someone watches this, you gotta find a way to share that. And all right, I gotta say this, you kind of set me up for it with season 8. Um,
Hmm.
I have a small confession to make. I have been working on a Red Arrow pilot script for years. And I was actually going to use the comic book character Spectre.
Mm.
And when Green Arrow respawned as Spectre, I said shit. So there it is. Just floating it out there. But it's really
It,
cool. It's set on Earth 2.
hmm.
Um, and there's material and Spectre's in it. So
It's that's funny just because it's one of my friends who does write. He's like, if you don't get it out there soon, somebody else is going to think of it.
I honestly couldn't believe it. I was like, I'm doing Spectre. They've never done that before, you know. But you know, I mean, you know, I imagine they've been like toying with a Red Arrow something for a while, but
I would love to see a Red Arrow spinoff with Colton Haynes. I mean, Colton's an amazing guy. He's one of the nicest people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm for it. I mean,
just one of the nicest people.
Honestly, just before quarantine, you know, because like I watched season 3, and I watched that episode where, you know, like Roy Harper is basically trying to like he's debating whether he should even keep being Arsenal or not, you know, and
Yeah.
And like people on the team are wondering if they should let Arsenal go, you know. And Arsenal like turns to Green Arrow and he's like, "Don't abandon
Yeah.
me." And I was like, "Oh!" like he did a really great job in that scene. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I am obviously for it. I better touch up that script. If you know anybody, just let me know. But yeah, so all right, so I was actually curious about the comic book swag. Were you given any comic books like Deathstroke books? No.
Uh, when I believe it was Marv Wolfman sent my boss a signed copy of Deathstroke #1 saying, "Thanks for bringing it to life." And I was like, "Well, where's my comic book?" And he goes, "No, you just got a paycheck." And it's like, wow, that's yeah, feel the love right there.
Big time.
No, I have I mean, I have a few mementos from the show. I may or may not have a Deathstroke. In the Return of Deathstroke, they showed a shot of a prototype suit before his final suit in a case.
Yeah.
I had built that as a pitch for a new suit. So they did end up using it as a new suit, but they used it as the prototype suit, and it had a helmet on it with gray and black instead of orange and black. And that helmet came back with my suit, and they said, "Well, you know what? Just hang on to it, because then the whole thing's together." I built it out of pocket. And then when the show ended, they're like, "Nah." Still, you know, the show's over. We don't care. So I still have the helmet sitting on the mannequin down there.
All right, man. Right on. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you have that. That's awesome. All right.
Yeah.
We kind of went all over the place, but I'm glad we did. We got some cool stuff in there.
I got nothing planned. You got me as long as you want.
Hey, that's great, man. Awesome. All right. Let me see. What else I got here? I asked the Brother Blood thing. I was really curious about that. We talked about season 7. Okay, there is a scene in at the end of season 2, right? Where this like sort of right-hand woman to Deathstroke, played by Summer Glau, she gets she gets hit by a van that Felicity Smoke is driving, right? And it's like it's like this crazy comedy bit. And then Felicity goes like, should I hit her again? Right? And like, was there a lot of debate about whether or
Yeah.
not she should hit her again? Right? Did you guys want to do that?
I I have no idea. That's out of my wheelhouse. I build the
Yeah,
stuff on the actors, and I don't have any say or anything when they're shooting. I just enjoy my time while I'm there.
yeah, right.
Um, I did not get to meet Summer Glau at all, with a bit of a crush, but I just because I think she's talented.
Yeah, she's
But
talented. That's a reasonable crush, I think.
yeah, it's funny. There was a joke running around though that, oh no, we just hope the show doesn't get canceled. Why? Oh well, she's got a curse. Every show she's on, it gets canceled. And I was like, yeah, but she's only guest starring, so she won't get it. It won't get canceled. And I don't know why I opened my mouth and said,
I'm
yeah.
sure she loved. I'm sure
The
she loved that joke.
I wasn't. She didn't hear me. I was out of. She wasn't there when I said that. So
I mean, look, I'm not doing fight scenes in a Deathstroke mask, so she's doing okay, I guess. I mean, like,
yeah,
she was on the Firefly, like she's got some stuff.
yeah.
d-
Terminator.
oh yeah, I never saw that. I gotta watch
Yeah,
that. Yeah, I actually always wanted to watch that.
she. So
Yeah, big time.
yeah.
All right, all right. Well, this is great. Hey,
Other
look,
questions.
what's so I didn't realize we'd get through everything so fast. Normally when I have like 3 pages, it takes a little longer, but this is a wild ride, man. I'm gonna have to find a way to bring you back later. I'm gonna see if I can get a sponsor from Zoom, from a
Mhm.
telecommunication company, and see if we can have like a really streamlined talk. And but I did have a couple more questions. So, what's the Canadian
Yep.
healthcare system like?
Amazing. Uh, if you hear the rumors or the propaganda that the Canadian healthcare system is terrible, no. I had a heart attack 2 years ago. I had two ambulances show up. I had the heart surgery. I was in a room. The only thing I had to pay for was, oh no, wait, I didn't pay for that time, because if it's an emergency, you don't pay for the ambulance. If you actually had to go to the hospital, they don't charge you. And in BC, our healthcare is pretty much free.
You said your healthcare is pretty much free?
Yep.
All right, you heard it here first, folks. In Canada, your healthcare is free.
You will not get refused at a hospital, regardless of what situation. You can be anywhere from a homeless
No,
person to
stop
ties
it.
by what your
You could be a
problem is,
homeless
and that's
person
it.
and get healthcare for free?
You basically, if you're in a dire situation, they worry about it later. But I mean, if somebody doesn't have money, what are they going to do? Sue
Yeah,
the
what are
person?
they, what are they going to
If they're
do indeed?
dying, if they're dying, they're dying, and that's our medical system. Is you are taken care of and given what you need. Um, Hell, even through my union, my dental is God. But
Yeah,
no, our
dental would
medical
be
system here
amazing.
is, and ours isn't the best in the world either.
Oh, really? So who are you guys jealous of in Canada for healthcare?
I believe it's Sweden. I believe I might have the country wrong, but they also have. It's funny, is it's a small country mass wise, but I believe they have 2 years mandatory
Mm.
military is paid, and that comes with education and everything. And when you think about it, that is a country you do not want to mess with, because everybody's trained. Like everybody was in the military.
Ouch. Yeah, that would be
So,
rough.
but
Although
no,
I guess I think it would, like, kind of rough out some of the impoliteness maybe, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, but yeah, it doesn't sound like you want to mess with them. But
No.
so what do you, as a Canadian, what are you hearing about? Oh, sorry, I didn't
Hmm.
mean to interrupt you. So as a Canadian, you hear
No, no.
about America every so often, right? So what have you heard about America in the past 10 years? What was good? What was bad? What do you think about America?
I could say it simply: Obama was good and Trump wasn't. I'm sorry, but the things he pulled on Canada and the bullying and
Right. I forgot about that.
putting a tariff, putting a tariff on something, we aren't the one paying for it. If you're adding taxes and charges onto something, the people buying it are the ones paying it.
Ah,
So, yeah, I mean, sorry, I didn't think we were going to get into political stuff here, but I wasn't a big Trump fan. I don't know about Biden. I think basically, as it is in the States, for the fact that politicians suck. At
right.
the end of
Yeah,
the day,
yeah.
they all get paid money. They can only do so much. There are present provincial premier. There's people who have problems with them, and it's kind of sad because he didn't come through in all his promises, but he came through in like 70%, which is pretty damn good. He's the
Right.
reason why we don't pay at all. And the problem that a lot of people don't understand about most politicians is the person in charge isn't actually in charge. He's
Right.
partially in charge, but there are a lot
Partially.
of other people.
Quite
And
so, I agree.
as far as money goes, money makes the world go around. We work and live in a capitalist society. We're not the capitalists. The people paying us are the capitalists. We're just working Joes.
Yeah.
We just want the best for us.
I think I think it's really great that you
I
wound up
work with a lot of
talking.
American.
Oh shoot. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you again. I think it's really great that you're talking about it the way you are, because I think some people in America wouldn't assume you're a working Joe, because you're jumping from show to show, and like, but you still have to beat the pavement, kind of, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Oh, if it's the film industry is the same down there as you work a gig, you work a show. Like I worked building stuff for Arrow for 7 years. Legends of Tomorrow and a couple other shows during that time, the 100. But Arrow was my gravy train. But eventually the show ends and the train has left the station. So you go on to your next show. I've been very fortunate that I got hired for time on that show. I made friends with the actor who plays Will Robinson. Max is again an amazing talented kid.
Cool.
That kid, when you see him act on the show, it's like, wow, he's a really good actor. And then when you see him in person acting and he's doing a totally emotional scene and they go cut and then it just turns it off. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do that again. And back to sad like that.
Yeah. Right on, man. That's great. Yeah.
It's going so.
It's great to actually like hear about
This is
it
supposed to be about Deathstroke. We're going all over the place.
yeah, yeah. Right. So there's a we've got some glitches, but you're talking about the show Lost in Space, and
Mm-hmm.
and this new actor Max plays the young Will on that show.
Yeah, for
Um
the last 3 years.
yeah, that's great, man. Do you ever get sort of sentimental about any show or any like moment in particular, or is it kind of different?
um, Honestly, some shows you're just like, yeah, I'm here to collect a check and Sorry, my phone flipped.
No, it's okay. That's practically an action shot for this podcast, man.
Some shows, it's like, it's a paycheck. It's, I'm making a paycheck. And some shows you work with some people you really like. I worked with this guy, Gary Ferguson, who's a real life pirate.
All right, you got to come back for a second episode all about the real life pirate.
Gary, I never met him before. I never worked with him before. And within a week, we're riffing on each other, and we're making cracks at each other, and now we're friends. I missed that shop, and my lead on set, like those people were all just great to work with. And swapping stories while we work, and watching each other's back, that kind of thing you miss.
Yeah.
Even when I was doing background continuity for Falling Skies, we had a tight knit group second season. And something happened that I wasn't back on the show much longer in the third season, but to my own fault. But yeah, we were tight. Everybody knew everybody. Every day I met the second AD, gave him a cigarette, he gave me the script. I then read through the script and told everybody what we were going to be doing for the day.
Yeah.
Like half the people didn't want to read the script. They're like, so what kind of day is it going to be? Oh, it's going to be a whole lot of blah, 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 blah. Us walking around in the background. And
right on, man.
Sometimes they'd be like, oh, there's going to be a lot of gunfire today.
Yes. I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah. So actually, gunfire on a set is a pretty real. It's pretty real. It's basically real.
Depends on the show. On Falling Skies, we did a lot of blank firing. Next time, ask me about that. I have a funny story about that. But on Arrow, a lot of times it's just airsoft and CG, same as Stargate, or gas guns, because it's just safer. When you're doing a pile of stunt scenes and people close, you can't have hot gas flying into people's faces.
No. So you actually reminded me of one thing. You said there were only 4 Deathstroke costumes. The last 2 episodes, like there's literally like an army of Deathstrokes. Like
that was just a helmet and tactical gear though for those guys.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, man. Well, thanks so much for coming on. And of course, any Green Arrow, anything, comic book, casting, whatever, like you're more than welcome. And thanks very much, Aaron, for responding to my emails. Our email thread got super long, and you were great the whole time. So thanks very much, sir. Cheers.
Absolutely. I'll anytime. I love the sound of my own voice.
You're more than welcome here. Yeah. We'll figure it out. Bye,
Okay.
Aaron. Thank you.